I'm not accusing you of that. I know you wouldn't do it. I know you too well.
I know that. But what
I'm saying is, are you surprised to learn that they were front-running the idea that the election was stolen when they knew it wasn't, and that they were building up Trump when they were calling him a bum behind his back?
Yes, I was a little surprised about the hypocrisy of it. You have to understand that it is not, Fox News is not what it was. There's a different management team in place from when I was there. Totally different management team. And when that happens in the media, you have a totally different standard of behavior. So I can't say I was surprised that some people pandered to the Fox News audience, because in all of television, people believe what they want to believe, and they seek out other people who are going to reinforce those beliefs. There are very few Americans right now in this country that watch media hoping to learn the truth. They want their own belief system reinforced.
But there is a difference between shading, seeming to give only the good, and misleading as a matter of fact about one of the institutions of our democracy. And if there were any question mark at the end of it, look what's happening with the January 6th coverage now. It's clearly and grossly being misrepresented, and that's not my take. It's the take of the head of the Capitol Police, who calls it offensive and misleading, and goes on to tell his men, do not listen to what's happening on Fox News.
What do you want me to answer first, the Fox question or the October 6th, the January 6th? What do you want me to answer?
As you feel.
Okay. So the January 6th riot, which it was reported in a very shoddy manner, just as the riots after the George Floyd killing was reported in a shoddy manner. So in the George Floyd riots, there were violent people who wanted to go out and hurt other people and steal and loot. But the majority of the people that were out in the street were peaceful demonstrators. It was not a generalization about one big thing. The same thing took place in January 6th. There were people in there that wanted to cause destruction and hurt people, and we all saw that on the video. There were other people who were just too dumb to understand, and they were wandering around. So
dumb is not a defense
who wanted to diminish
trespass, by the way.
I'm not defending. I'm telling you, no, it's certainly not.
It's what makes it different than George Floyd. If you're out on the street, you're not committing a crime until you touch person or property.
Yes, you are. If you are violating a police line or a curfew,
I
agree.
Certainly are. I said before you transgress person or property.
Both of these occurrences were reported in a shoddy manner.
I disagree.
Because it's very hard to generalize about a group. Okay, I don't.
Well, you're generalizing about the coverage. I mean, you coverage things in real time. Your real gripe.
I'm very specific about the coverage.
Well, you're also very specific about
on the George Floyd riots was not reported accurately.
Okay,
there were far more damaging things done.
All right.
Now,
hold
January
6th, hold on.
Wait.
Hold on. You're going to talk about George Floyd. There are two problems. One is you're doing what you have a tendency to do, which is, Fox does it, but the media goes after Trump. Oh, we're going to talk about January 6th. No. Oh, let's talk about George Floyd. Has nothing to do with January 6th.
Not what I'm doing. I'm saying that the reporting on these big stories is shoddy, okay? That people don't know how to report the stories. So, in the January 6th situation, the Fox News audience, generalizing about it, but I think it's true, didn't see it the way that the CNN audience saw it, because this is the polarization. So the Fox News commentators, some of them, try to diminish what happened on January 6th. That was not good analysis or honest reporting. You don't diminish something.
But it wasn't offsetting what CNN was doing. We weren't covering it to give an exaggerated notion of how violent it was.
I don't know why you can't understand this. CNN's coverage of the riots after George Floyd was just as bad as Fox's coverage of January 6th.
Well,
oh, come on. You got a guy standing in front of hold it. You got a guy standing in front of a building on fire that looks into the camera with a microphone and goes, hey, it's mostly peaceful out here. Come on.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.